So what is success? What does it mean to be successful? I guess it depends on who you talk to. I've seen a lot of quotes about success. One of them said that if at first you don't succeed, we have a lot in common. And another, every time I find the keys to success, somebody changes the locks. A little cynical. I mean, it gives you a smile, but a little cynical. And then one from the comedian George Carlin. Are you familiar with George Carlin? Who said that if you try to fail and you succeed, which one have you done? You have to sort of scratch your head on that one a little bit. And then after the last Mass, because I also said the 8:30 Mass, somebody said, here's another one. If at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you. Now, of course, you laugh at that one. But one of my favorite quotes about success came from a 6-year-old. If at first you don't succeed, try new batteries. And in there's some real wisdom. That little 6-year-old's not going to give up. That little 6-year-old's going to keep trying. They're going to find a way, and that's really the message. Keep trying. Find a way. Be creative. Don't give up, no matter how difficult it is. And some things are difficult, but they're worth it. So keep trying until you get it right. Keep trying until you get good at it. That's the message of that little wise 6-year-old. I think Jesus would agree with him. I think he would look at discipleship, and he talks about discipleship to his disciples today. I think he would absolutely agree with that little 6-year-old and say, it's difficult, but keep trying, don't give up. And he presents them with what is difficult today about it. He says, in the heart of discipleship, if you're really my disciples, then I have to come before absolutely everything else in your life, everything. Every person that you hold dear, I have to come before them. I have to be the center of your life. Everything that you could do, every endeavor, every success that you might think is great, I have to come before that as well. Every need, every desire, every want, I have to come before all of it. I have to be in the center, Christ is telling his disciples. That's tough. And we may find ourselves not doing it, sometimes intentionally maybe not doing it, saying, I'm just not going to do it, too hard, too much, I'll do this. Or we might find ourselves saying, I meant to do it, but sort of forgot. I got wrapped up in these other things, and I wound up not putting Christ first. And if that happens, and we find ourselves in a place where we could be better at having Christ at the center of our life, then try new batteries. Take that little kid's advice. If at first we don't succeed, try again. Try new batteries. St. Francis de Sales would certainly agree with him. St. Francis de Sales said something similar. Well, he didn't have batteries, but he did have a lot of wisdom. And he said this: what one seldom does well. What one seldom does well. In other words, if it's the first time you're doing it, you may not do it well, so don't be big surprised on that. But implied in that is don't give up. Keep trying. Go back, make the effort again. Try the new batteries. Try the new solution. Be clever. Find a way to make it work. It might be difficult, but it's worth it, so don't give up. Keep working at it until you're good at it. That's how de Sales would put it. Discipleship is tough. Discipleship is tough because we have to keep Christ at the center of our lives, but that doesn't mean pushing anybody else to the side. In fact, he says, anybody who receives you receives me. Anybody who receives you receives me. That means there's automatically a connection between you and me and Christ. Automatically. We are connected through Christ. And what we do to each other, the good that we pour into each other's lives, that is how we become good disciples. The good we pour into each other's lives, that's how we bring Christ close. The good we pour into each other's lives, that's how we get Christ in our hearts. Right like that. Not by pushing anybody else to the side, but bringing them right along with Christ. And if we find that we haven't done it, and that there are people that we've neglected or pushed aside or just don't want to deal with, and we think we can do better, then try new batteries. Try again. Or as DeSales would say, what we seldom do well. In other words, don't give up. Keep working at it until you're good at it. You know, and that saying by DeSales, what we seldom do well. Something else is implied. The other thing that's implied in that is, don't be so focused on being perfect. Don't be so focused on being perfect, having to be the perfect disciple. Be focused rather on progress as a disciple. That we are becoming holier, that we are becoming better disciples each time. That we go back and we learn a little bit each time, and we try a little harder, and we're a little bit better at it every time. For growing in holiness and for growing in discipleship, there is no failure. For growing in holiness and growing in discipleship, there is no failure except giving up, except choosing not to try.